noticed one day like 6 Middle Eastern guys walk by across the street, kind of dressed nice, and they would walk around and go over to State Street and eat there because I seen them eating there when I went to the paint store one day, Redlands Paint. Anyways, we sat around lunch thinking, well, what were them guys doing in this neighborhood? And it went on for like 3 weeks until the project was done. We'd see them every other day leave over here by where they're raiding that apartment.
And that man that we interviewed said he never said anything because he didn't want to be seen as racially profiling.
Exactly. Welcome back to the show, folks. And now, follow this. Did you hear what he said? They saw Middle Eastern men well-dressed, and they said to themselves, what are they doing in this neighborhood? If this guy just said that and there was no attack, if this guy had come forward and called the news media and said, you know, if it was found out that this guy had said that, and there was no problem, if there was nothing going on in the neighborhood, but he saw these Middle Eastern men and he said, what are they doing in this neighborhood? They'd try to convict him of a hate crime. See, that's so now when the FBI and the administration says, as they did today, hey, if you see something, say something. But what if you're wrong? What if you're wrong? Then you're racially profiling. Then you're an Islamophobe. Then you're a bigot. You see, they frighten the public into political correctness. This man and another woman who lived in the area cowered for fear of being called a name and did not report what they believed they saw that smelled rotten, because that's what this president has wrought in this country. If you speak up, if you give your opinion, if you say, hey, that doesn't look right. Well, so it doesn't look right. 6 Middle Eastern men going and coming. That's okay. You could say that only if it turns out there was or it's going to be terrorism. But if you say that and it turns out they're just visiting and they're family members, oh, then it's harassment, you see. Then you're a bigot. Can't have it both ways. You can't have the public working for law enforcement as they should be with the threat hanging over them that if they're wrong, they're going to be in trouble or at least called a name. Let's get back to the phones at 1-877-NEWSMAX. Johnny from Rockville, Maryland. Hi, Johnny. Thanks for calling.
Mr. Steve, I think you have a great show, and I think you're great, and I agree with pretty much everything you say. And I want to make a comment about what happened the other day.
Well, thank you very much for the kind words, and go right ahead, sir.
Yes, sir. They're radical Islamic terrorists. I don't know why the president doesn't come out and say that. And the thing is, I feel horrible picturing these poor 14 people in that room watching themselves being killed. And I'm really sad about that, sir. And what I'm saying is, I don't know why people don't talk about this on the news, is why can't we have a civil defense where civilians that are trained by the police departments are issued guns to carry? If one person had a gun in that room that was trained to use a gun, possibly he could have shot both of them dead before they killed or maybe didn't kill any of them. And that's a shame. And why can't we have that, Mr. Wallenberg? Why can't we have?
Well, Johnny, please call me Steve. That is a very good question, and I think that's something that should be part of the conversation that we should be having now. Not taking away guns from law-abiding citizens, not making it harder for law-abiding citizens to protect themselves and others, but to get more law-abiding citizens to be able to protect themselves from common criminality and from these kinds of instances, whether it's in schools, whether it's in shopping malls, whether it's in these office settings. You're absolutely right. If they're willing and if they're trained and certified after extensive background checks by local and federal authorities, they want to be a citizen defense or whatever you want to call it, kind of like an auxiliary cop out of uniform with the right to carry, that should be allowed. Because if you look at where jurisdictions exist all over this country, not where I am, where people have a right to carry commonly, that's where there is the less crime. I thank you very much, Johnny. It's a very interesting point, folks. I mean, it's a very interesting point. You know, there are still nuts. I mean, I don't want to get specific, but there are still nuts that are still blaming this on guns. Yesterday, Barbara Boxer went before a press conference and said, we have to have Dianne Feinstein reintroduce her weapons bills. And she said, we have strict laws in California, and look how well it works. Look how well it works? A day after you just had the attack? These people are delusional, and they think you are. But I know you're not, and you know you're not, and in November of next year, they're all going to find out you're not. We're coming back.